I've got a few interesting situations here that I'm going to be uh, analyzing and showing you how we can read the arrangements. Primarily, we're going to be dealing with a couple of sky touches, and we're going to be dealing with the power of trend gray, and we're going to be looking at a couple of up touches specifically on trend pink. And so in this example that we see here, right here on uh, trend, on the red vertical line, we have uh, trend red up touching trend pink. We also have the exact same thing over here in with trend red up touching trend pink. Also, both of the green lines are up touching trend blue. Also, trend red in both cases is just slightly above the pink, trend pink line. So they're real similar examples, but yet on the green vertical line next day we had a big green candle, and on the red vertical line next day we had a big red candle. And we're going to look at some of the things that affect how this thing is moving. We yeah, also I'll point out that we are in what's referred to as a sky touch. In other words, when we're looking at the proximity group, the one of the down touches that can occur within the proximity group is that red, green, and gray can down touch the yellow, pink, blue line, or they can down touch zero, or they can down touch under zero. And the sixth and final one is that they can be in a sky touch, which basically is a case where the indicators are moving up higher, and it's really not a down touch, but it was the easiest way to define this. I don't want to say exception because it happens a lot. We get a lot of sky touches when we're dealing with gaps. But in any case, you have the crossover line. For example, red crosses over green. In this case here, it's the day before the red vertical line. And then if you go over to the other one, actually 2 days before, the red was just slightly under green, as you can see from the data window on the right. And then this following day, the day before the green vertical line, that's technically the crossover day. Trend red was up above trend green, and so trend or no, excuse me, I take that back. Trend red is minus 33 and trend green is minus 20.27. So no, I was correct, because here trend red is a smaller number in this case, and red is a larger number in this case, so it makes it under it. So excuse me for that. But now, in also occurring inside of this thing are several things that are taking place. The third thing that I want you to see is is trend red. In the green vertical line, trend red is compliant with, excuse me, I said that wrong. Trend gray is compliant with green and red. In other words, all three of them are going up. And potentially, if because red is above green, we've started an uptrend, and theoretically we should or could be in an uptrend. But what I'm trying to point out to you here is that gray is pointed up. And in the case of the red vertical line over here, gray is pointed down. We're actually in divergence. And most of the time when trend gray is down and red and green are up, it ends up in a nice green candle the next day. but that also normally happens when trend gray is near zero or under zero. And so that may sound confusing, but just bear with me as you look at this information, because it does make sense. In the green vertical line over here, you're looking at what you got in the trend chart over here, and you're looking at what you got in the power chart over here, because on the power chart on the green line, I forgot to do this. Let me do the power chart first. On the power chart, you have Zion above the power orange and the power 4 under the power orange. And that's the identical situation on the red vertical line. The direction of power Zion is opposite, or I should say, with most of them, it's opposite. In the red vertical line, except for the white line, white and blue are up, and yellow and pink are down, and you end up with a red candle. On this one over here, the Zion is up with blue, and pink is up, and white is up, and yellow is, in this case here, power yellow's at 0.56 and minus 0.61, so yellow is also up. So all 5 of them were up in this case with a red candle on the green vertical line. Now, going back over to the zip chart over here, you can see on the green vertical line we have zip green at 0. And if you've only looked at even one video in this in the day trading Visual Basic system, you know that when green is at 0, the price is going to be going up. And so this is one of those examples where zip pink is not next to the green before the price changes and goes up. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm guessing maybe about 10% of the time, maybe less than that. When normally the definition of a pink-green bottom is zip green at 0 and pink right next to it before it goes up the next day. That happens 90% or more of the time. Same with a pink-green top. The pink-green is at 100 and the zip pink is right next to it, and then it goes down. But once in a while you'll see it where, like in this case, yellow and blue are in between the pink and the green line. So, but the other thing that's real easy to see is on the green vertical line we have swing Zion in a flat movement. It looks like a W pattern with a flat bottom. And that's real indicative of a next day up movement when that occurs. And then, of course, swing pink has been up for 3 days now, and with zip green at 0. And so you've again heard me say, I'm sure, in previous videos, that swing pink is the fastest moving line with the exception of zip red. Those two together are the quickest lines in the entire system. And in this case here, with a red candle, both zip red and zip pink are up. That is not true in the case of the red vertical line. On the red vertical line, we have zip pink highest and in a low angle up, and we have divergence in swing. I said zip, I meant in swing pink we are in a low angle up, and in swing Zion we are in a low angle down. Pink is above all the other lines, so that specifically identifies it on a peak, and we're in a low angle up, and we got divergence, which tells us that these are posts, meaning that we have 2 ups in the case of pink. In the case of Zion, we have an up and a down, so that's a post or a low angle down on a peak. When I say post, I mean the same thing as a peak. Whereas if you think of it over in the swing Zion on the vertical green line, the Zion looks like it's about to form the next side of a bucket, because the Zion line, swing Zion, is at the bottom. It's been 2 days down, creating what looks like a bucket. And so in the case of the red vertical line, you also see ZIP green highest. It's obviously not at 100, it's at 73, but it's still highest. And so all indications are that it's going down. We have with the case of ZIP red's at 71, and ZIP green is at 73. So ZIP red has crossed under ZIP green as well, also giving us an indication for the downtrend. And the other thing you can look at too is your position of the price charts. You obviously can't tell significantly because price red is 43 and its highest, and over here on the green vertical line, price green is at 27 and price red is at 19. So there is a fairly good difference between the two, and the location being so low with price red at almost 20, that's on the lower range of things, meaning that if there was a change, it's going to go up, or it could go up more, potentially more than anything else. And it's been low for quite a while, 4 or 5 days, so all indications are that it is likely to go up as well. And so those are the quick differences between what you can see on two identical patterns. The power of trend gray, especially in its abilities with divergence between red and green, is really good. Always look for that and see what it's doing. Recognize the ability of what trend gray offers you in the way of divergent recognition for cycle changes. So, because look at the trend red and green, we're in an uptouch pink. That's logically because it's above the pink. That's, in I guess depending on what experience you had in looking at the indicators, when it's above pink, it could go either way. When red is above pink, because its location is above, it'll oftentimes go above. But again, everything, you just got to put all the factors into play and understand what's going on, because the identical same situation is there in trend green vertical line, with red and green above, with red and green above, with trend red above trend green. That's typically an uptrend. One thing I just saw too is trend red on the vertical green line is in a low angle up. And that's not the case on the vertical, did I say that right? On the vertical green line, trend red is not in a low angle up, but on the vertical red line, trend red is in a low angle up pattern. And so there's another indication that things are going to go down in the vertical red line. So lots of indicators that can identify with what you see at the same time with identical movements. Just be knowledgeable of them, recognize what you see. The ZIP green obviously tells you a lot when you're looking at these comparisons. And when you have two comparisons like this, it's a good way to share them. But most of the time you're looking at one particular arrangement and you're making a decision about, well, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? And so these are good examples. These two were good examples of how you can look at those arrangements differently based on what you see as supporting evidence.